Good evening and welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. India has overtaken Brazil in the number of coronavirus infections recorded and now has the world's second highest tally behind only the US. Only 5 of India's states are responsible for more than half of the country's virus caseload, but all of them have been reopening since June, and any further lockdowns seem unlikely. Experts believe that economic difficulties have left the government with no choice, while a relatively low death rate has kept panic at bay. Meanwhile, South Africa has dropped 2 places to 7th among countries with the highest number of virus cases globally, as new infections have continued to decrease. But the health minister has warned that the country is not over the worst yet, fearing that there could be a resurgence. Australia has said it will secure almost 85 million doses of a coronavirus vaccine if 2 promising trials prove successful. Prime Minister Scott Morrison has said the deals would allow free doses to be rolled out in 2021 if they were approved for use, but there are no guarantees.
Today we take another significant step to protect the health of Australians against the coronavirus pandemic. A $1.7 billion agreement for the supply and production of more than 80 million vaccine doses.
Unidentified masked men have detained a leading opposition figure in Belarus, according to local media. Witnesses reportedly saw Maria Kolesniokova being bundled into a minibus in Minsk and driven away. She was one of 3 women who joined forces ahead of August's presidential election to challenge incumbent Alexander Lukashenko. Mass unrest has followed his re-election amid allegations of vote rigging. The Interior Ministry has said it detained 633 people on Sunday after a 4th consecutive week of protests. Hong Kong police have come under fire after footage of officers tackling a 12-year-old girl to the ground near a pro-democracy protest has gone viral. Police said the girl took part in an illegal gathering and officers used minimum force after she ran away in a suspicious manner. But the girl's family said she was simply out to buy school supplies and became scared when confronted by police. Nearly 300 people were arrested at Sunday's demonstration. The protests came after the government announced its decision to postpone legislative elections by a year. Typhoon HAISHEN has moved away from southern Japan, leaving a trail of destruction caused by powerful winds and torrential rains as it heads towards the Korean peninsula. Almost 2 million people have been ordered to evacuate the region, which is still recovering from heavy rains and flooding in July that killed 83 people. Typhoon HAISHEN comes just days after Typhoon Maysak smashed into the Korean peninsula, leaving at least 2 people dead and thousands without power. Officials have blamed a gender reveal party for one of several wildfires raging in the US state of California. A smoke-generating pyrotechnic device at the event sparked the El Dorado fire, which has now spread over 7,000 acres. It is one of more than 24 blazes across the state. This is not the first time such an event has started a wildfire. In April 2017, a gender reveal party sparked a week-long wildfire which burned through 45,000 acres. Almost 300 Rohingya refugees believed to have been at sea for 6 months have landed in Indonesia's Aceh province. A wooden boat carrying the Rohingya was spotted by local fishermen. Among them were 181 women and 14 children, that's according to local police. Fleeing persecution in Myanmar and already overcrowded refugee camps in Bangladesh, the Rohingya have been attempting to seek refuge for years, mostly by boat in other Southeast Asian nations. Protesters have forced several stores of a South African health and beauty company to close after it ran a hair advertisement they deemed to be racist. The Clicks advert had pictures of African hair labelled as dry, dull and damaged, while an example of white hair was described as fine and flat. Opposition party Economic Freedom Fighters has called the advert racist and dehumanising. Its leader, Julius Malema, has called for all Click stores to be closed. And finally, Argentines have enjoyed what was billed by organisers as the first concert of its kind in South America since the outbreak of the coronavirus. The performance by Coti Sorokin and his band Los Brillantes was held in a drive-in theatre on the banks of La Plata River on the outskirts of the capital Buenos Aires. The hour-and-a-half-long concert saw applause replaced by car horns and the glow of cell phones replaced by the blaze of headlights as people inside 60 cars enjoyed the show. And that's your international news around the world in 5, and now back to the channel studios in Lagos.